are not allowed to be ordained in his church. And women are not allowed in the Baptist tradition because they're autonomous. They can decide to do what they want to do. And often, to find an ordained woman in senior leadership is an anomaly. And so we were invited to participate in the installation service, but they literally changed the entire service so that we would not participate in full vestments. So there's two parts of the service, where the laying on of hands and everything, and the whole installation as he becomes now pastor. And so they wanted to switch the service so that we would not participate in the part where we had to wear our vestments. Literally, did you hear what I said? That they changed the whole service, right? So that we would not participate. They literally did not want us processing with the men. There were seats all on the stage, on the pulpit, for all of the men. Our names were in the bulletin because my former pastor insisted that the names be in the bulletin at least. But we had to speak from the floor. We could not sit on the pulpit, and there was only one gentleman who decided that he was going to process with us and sit with us and not on the stage. And so that was a good thing. It did not change, however, what went on in the church. But I want to say that was 4 years ago, and now finally they're letting a woman preach there. She's not going to be preaching from the pulpit, but she is going to preach from the floor. But just preaching alone in there is a big, huge thing. I have too survived many, as Joyce has shared, very, very intimate and personal challenges with advances that were unwelcomed. And I mean, all of us have those kinds of stories, and we can all share with them and what we have done to survive them. But that same pastor, when I first started serving in his church, before he went to this new church, recognized some of those things, and my behavior, the way that I would interact there, oftentimes was different. So I would apologize a whole lot. I always would be asking permission, overly asking to do this, to do that. I was invited to preach out. Can I go? Can I this? And then he stopped me one day and shared a story about him dating someone who had been raped, and her responses and her actions to jump all the time when he would speak. And he said to me, your responses are the same way. You have that kind of, I have to apologize first. And this is what we do because we've been traumatized so often in the places in which we have served. And so that when we're finally in a place where someone is trying to open a door or a space for you, it is oftentimes, we have to overcome that. And so it is in the company of the sisters that I have found that helps me to do that. And so, and now as the chaplain, I am the first woman of African descent to hold the position as chaplain at the Church Center for the UN. So there's never been a little black girl in Church Center as chaplain. And so, so that's a blessing. And also a curse, it seems sometimes. So when I first started there, I was on the elevator, and I was going up the elevator, and I'm in the elevator. I'm really excited about my job, and I'm trying to figure out, all the different things to do. Ironically, I was an intern working at the Church Center, so never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be back there. I came back, and I'm working there, and I'm on the elevator with this gentleman, and pleasantries, hello, and he says to me, oh, we need more paper towels on the 7th floor. Can we get some paper towels on the 7th floor? So he asked me, can we get some paper towels on the 7th floor? And my response was, I'm sure you can. Like, yeah, why would you not be able to get I'm confused. But we're riding up, and he says it again. So can we get some paper towels? We need some on the 7th floor. And I said, I'm sure you can. Yeah, because it didn't dawn on me. And then he says, no, can you make sure that we have some more paper towels on the 7th floor? And then I said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm not maintenance. I am the new chaplain. And he goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I said, clearly, You know, you having a good day, God bless you, right? And I left. But then, so that was one of the experiences. So I didn't wear a collar before coming. And I wasn't told that I needed to wear a collar, none of that. But then I decided, well, let me start wearing a collar so people can maybe recognize the little black girl is actually the chaplain of the church center. And there's nothing wrong, by the way, of being the maintenance person. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I wasn't at the time, okay? So this last time, and this was a huge event. It was a huge memorial service that was happening in the chapel. It was my first. I was there literally maybe 3 months. No, I was there about 6 months. This was about 3 months after the last incident that I just told you about happened. And so I'm wearing my collar because it's a memorial service. I'm standing there, and the funeral director is coming up to me and wants to introduce me to his team so that we know, since Mayor de Blasio was going to be coming, it was an MTA officer that was hit. And so it was huge service. So he introduces me to to his staff. We shake hands and all of that. And I'm standing in between one of the maintenance crew in the building and the building manager. The maintenance person in uniform and the building manager and me in my clergy collar. So we say hello, everything, and then he had to leave, the funeral director, for a second. He said, I'll be right back, my team is there, and anything you need, we'll be happy. So they're moving the floral arrangements, and some of the water had spilled on the chapel floor. So as he's moving it, and he says his expletives in the chapel, and he does whatever. He looks over to me, and he says, we need a mop to clean this up. You work here, we need a mop. Did you hear what I said? I'm standing in between the maintenance person in uniform and the building manager, but he looks at me, the woman, forgetting the fact that I had a clergy collar on, and says, we need a mop to clean this up. And then continues to go forward. So then in my own mind, I'm saying to myself, so I even tried to put the clergy collar on, and that doesn't even work. So do you understand? So these are the challenges that we have when we're serving in leadership, as both a woman, as a woman of color, black women in particular, in these settings when they're sort of like, you're an anomaly. We don't know what to do with an outspoken woman. But then we really don't know what to do with you woman of color who is supposed to already be in a subservient role. This is not what you're supposed to do. And then you're a servant leader in a position of authority. And so this is what we navigate and have to do and play the roles and decide how we're going to respond if not. Just to say how that ended was to say that our building manager saw my face. God bless him. Because I was really trying to decide, who am I gonna be in this moment? who really? Because because let me, this is a reality. When things like this happen, people expect to see angry black women come out, right? So you don't even deserve angry black woman, is what I was thinking to myself. And then I thought to myself, okay, I do still need my job. I need my job. I mean, all of these things were playing in our minds. How am I going to respond in this moment? Because there are other women that are counting on me, right, to represent there. And then I live my life every day trying to say, how can I please God and not embarrass my parents? So the two things every day I try and live, really. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna not embarrass them today. And so before I even opened my mouth, he answered for me. He said, oh, I got it, Rev, I got it. And he looked at me and he winked, because he just knew. It might not have come out the way that I wanted it to, but we do have men that stand with you in situations. And so, and I've been blessed to be able to have some of them, and we've had to fight on some of the other ones, but have good ones. So that's how that one ended.